Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Right Path Podcast, where being an author, an actual author, still matters. Folks, this is the place. This is the podcast for authors. It's about authors. It's done by an author. This is the place where we share our journeys. This is the place where we explore our creativity. And most importantly, we examine the why behind all of it. Our guest today is a gentleman that I know very well. I have had the absolute blessing of being able to interview him on three other podcasts. And today we are talking about a totally different topic about his brand new book that's coming out. Folks, I cannot wait to get into this and learn more about this guy that I consider to be a friend of mine, and I know you're going to love him. He is a retired Army Lieutenant Colonel. He's the father of two fabulous daughters. He's a born again Christian. He's a motivational speaker and has appeared on the TEDx Duluth stage, and that's going to be coming out really soon. He's a servant leader, and today we're going to talk about the fact that he's also an author of several books, but most recently, Let's Get Spiritual. His newest release just came out, and folks, I'm really looking forward to hearing about it. Please welcome to the show, Ryan Reichert. Ryan, how you doing, brother?
Hey Rory, so great to be back and just a couple brothers from other mothers. It's so good to see you. It's so good to hear that deep voice of yours again and know that from a completely different lens, we're coming into this one. So thank you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. It is. It's unique when you can have somebody on four different podcasts, and every time you're talking about something totally different. That's just a really cool place to be. Tell everybody a little bit about who is Ryan Reichert, and kind of what has led you to this particular project of Let's Get Spiritual.
Yeah, I'll give the most condensed version, just knowing that the Let's Get Spiritual is the important part, the 6 steps to transform your life or our lives, depending on how we want to go with it. But yeah, I'm a small town boy, Hoople, North Dakota. I love propping up Tatertown, USA, where I grew up, starting in circa 1978. It basically is the foundation that allows me to tell the stories I tell, and it wasn't easy. I was born and raised Irish Catholic, so for those who really know me, know that I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict, and that's just a little joke for those of us that are Irish Catholic. And I was somebody who went to the University of North Dakota, joined the United States Army, like Roy said, served 23 years, retired as lieutenant colonel. I finally found the Lord in my sobriety just about 2.5 years ago now, and realizing that I had a lot of work to still do in life, coming up on almost half a century on this great earth, and it was a separation, divorce, estrangement from those two beautiful children, and then the loss of a Fortune 500 job in retirement just a few years ago, all while I was sober. And basically realizing that I was going to build our Protector Development, which is a book series today. It is a coaching and consulting firm. We have the media side of the house with Our Healer, Our Protector, which is our podcast, and now nonprofit as well.
Mm.
And it just continues to go on, just truly being blessed in His mercy, His grace, and love that I know today, where I believed in a previous life, early on life, that He was more punishing and things were much darker. And so I just am so blessed. Yeah, 4 times. It's hard to believe. This is our fourth encounter together. We've formed kind of quite the relationship at this point, and it's something completely new. Uh,
Oh,
let's get spiritual. The 6 steps to transform your life. I like to say our lives, I guess, when I'm talking about it, because it really is that. And it's a standalone, but at the same time, I kind of say it's the bookend in a series. We have God only knows when the devil comes to your second chance of life, that really ramps you through divorce, broken heart, estrangement, and then kind of coming out of the ashes post Fortune 500 job loss. And then the Icarus effect is the one in the middle, the highs and lows of our emotions. We all have feelings. I think I'm want to adjust that and change it to men have feelings too, because with the consulting and coaching business, it's really become coaching other men and so forth. And the Icarus effect is, basically becoming a man. And at 45, I finally became a man and started to tell the truth in everything that I do and realized that's how, I've been gifted all these, and it's not me, it's him. I'm just the vessel that it comes through and it gets put down on paper. But so all glory to God in these beautiful gifts, the books, and then now, yeah, helping other men, become who they're really supposed to be. And it's just us talking about it, having meaningful conversations like you and I have had them multiple times here, and you garner that strength. So it was funny because I'm sure you're going to ask this, so I'm just going to jump on it. Like, where did Let's Get Spiritual come from, right? And it was I hopped in the truck. Olivia Newton-John was on the radio, singing "Let's Get Physical," and for whatever reason, I think I was coming from church, and I was like, "That's it," because I really struggled with the title. I was like, "One day at a time," which there's a number of "One Day at a Time," so I would have had to come up with a catchy subtitle and so forth. But yeah, she was singing. I was like going through my normal, like, what's the title going to be? And it's like, no, it's Let's Get Spiritual. And the 6-step method to transform our lives is basically a lot of what I talk about in TEDx Duluth. It's us smiling, step one. It's step two and three is your please and your thank yous, and 4 and 5 is excuse me, I'm sorry, and then 6 is just repeat. And we do that back and forth throughout our day. You go out and do this now when you encounter the world, and the next person does it, and we just literally transform our lives through that. And
Hmm.
that's the fastest version of all this, but I know we're going to get deeper into things.
Well, I mean, you've written some different things. You've got a lot of different interests. You have plenty of different skills and talents that you've developed over the years. So nothing surprises me. I had you on one of my other podcasts, and we did a very deep dive into faith. On that one, and I think that might have actually been the one where we met each other. Was on that one first, over on Wake Up the Lions. But so I know that you're a spiritual man, and I know that this is something that you kind of either rediscovered or discovered, later on in your life. I'm a little curious about that, if you don't mind me asking, since it does kind of lead right into the book here.
Right.
Were you raised that way spiritually and whatnot, or is that something that you found later in life, maybe after a causality type thing?
Right. No, I mean, when I think of calling myself, a spiritual man, person, whatever I am, uh, I was born and raised Catholic, and the joke, just is that. So it was a great foundation. But I couldn't see it. Too many rules, and it's kind of like the joke of going there. And if you ever had a buddy come to church with you, it's like, boy, I didn't know we were gonna sit down, shut up, fight, 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 rah, 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 kind of thing. And between kneeling and different things and so forth, and different rules and different, no, 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 whatever's. So for me, today I look at it as a fantastic foundation growing up Catholic, but I couldn't see it that way. It's because I had to go to church, or we had to go to catechism, or I had to be an altar boy, or had to sing in the church choir. It wasn't like I get to. It's this where you're gonna establish this great blessing in that foundation. And so when I got married, I married a Lutheran. So to me, I was like, sweet, this is like Catholic light. This is so much. I don't have to go to like a course to literally be married into the Lutheran church. Like, this is awesome. And I think of, Pastor H, and we showed up, I think, 2 or 3 times to his house, and my former spouse went with his wife. I went with him, and we watched like football. And then, we talked a little bit about, hey, this is what it's probably going to be like for you. But you were raised Catholic, so I know you got a great foundation and, all this. And you're probably pretty disciplined. And no, 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 no. And so we fast forward a lot of it where I wasn't, well, no, let me slow down. I found myself in Afghanistan in 2004, and some things happened. That I kind of cursed the Lord in what had happened, and I couldn't really understand why certain things would happen to people or just in life. And I think maybe I struggled really. living that life that I kind of had learned and then married into a lesser. And then it was like, but what does it matter if this stuff like this is going to happen? Why do bad things happen to good people, right? And we then finally had children when I came back from Afghanistan, and they were baptized because that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what, for I guess, parents and church and all the different things. And I didn't really understand it. I didn't have a good understanding of what my faith practices should look like, and truly what spirituality is for me today. And that gets to that point of what woke me up to it, and it was just looking at the seven deadly sins and where I was part of all seven of them in my life, and waking up to going, you know, you really need to change how you live life and who you are. Like, you might believe you're somebody who served our country, and I mean, I had 23 years of nationalism from that side of it. I was certainly very proud of, it said United States Army on my chest, I had the
Yeah.
flag on one shoulder, and why I was doing it, right? And the other side of it, though, I was not kind. I wasn't someone that practiced those six steps. I didn't emulate the father I am today for my two beautiful young ladies that one day will have men in their lives, and will look to their husbands one day for guidance and strength. And I kind of, I don't like to use the word failure, because failure is only when you don't get back up again. And so, like, the lesson that I learned
Yeah.
in the relationship that I once had, that I believed it would have forever, and I obviously squandered certain sides of it, but at the same time I look today at whom I've become, and only through my faith practice, my spirituality, knowing that he is loving, that he will redeem every good thing that he put inside of you if you're willing to surrender and give it all. And that's still at times hard, especially in entrepreneurship. I want to have the reins, and it's almost like, like, what should a book look like? It's like this cover, like, this certainly isn't the first cover. And do I 100%, is this a, like, Ryan approved, Ryan certified? No, this is like, how many times are we going to change it before it's good enough? And let's publish this book and allow people to utilize it, because that's what it's all about, is having people go, all right, cool, I can get behind this. I can fill out these practices each day, and I get this. Like, I see how this worked for you. I mean, it took me 18 months to come up with all of that. And now it's, dissolved into a daily practice with multiple different things you go through. And if you do it for 90 days, everybody that's been doing it before this was published, that I was kind of practicing it with, um, it is approved, and they're living some amazing lives, just like I greatly appreciate you running down the highlight reel. But I mean, I have bad days too, right? Like, I just don't want to turn them into bad weeks, bad months, bad years, bad life. And I think that's how I lived before. And today, it looks like this is what, Thursday nights, last night teaching seventh grade boys, small group leader at church. That's a non-negotiable, right? Saturdays or Sundays serving at church again, getting as much of the good Lord as I can, heading to AA meetings a couple times a week, and then the rest of the time filling it with meaningful conversations, just like we've had multiple times. You start to realize that you need to have those daily doses of people like-minded, where you just, however many months it's been, even though we were like, oh, it's been years, and we're like, oh, it's so good to see you. What you been up to? Oh, this. No way, it's only been a couple months. Like, really? And that's what's so cool, because I finally get to do all these things. I get to be a small group leader. I get to serve at church. Like, I get to go to my AA meetings. I get to be a business owner today, and a podcaster and an author and a speaker. Where at times before, I was like, oh, I have to go to work today. And I wasn't serving my community. I wasn't being the father and husband that I needed to be, kind of thing. And you realize, I think back to the first book, the subtitle, right? Second chance at life. I mean, I never knew I'd get this second chance. So I'm not ever going to test it. Is there a third chance kind of thing? We're just like, we're going to go with, I got my second chance. I know how I'm supposed to live my life today. And, I know you need to rest too. We were just talking about that before I hit record about being sick in this
Yeah.
season of getting ready to publish the book and going down for a week. Never been sick for a week in my life. You figure you have some type of, real thing wrong with you if you're sick that long. And I think it was
Yeah.
probably just the relief of holding all, like this was the last piece of it to share right now with the series of books with the world. Even though I know we got more in the hopper and all that great stuff, but it it's like this is enough for everybody to latch on to and get to have some of that you share. Just like you with all your podcasts.
Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate it. The this book, when you were describing it to me beforehand, when we were in our pre-interview, you were kind of showing it to me, holding it up. It's a bit of an action plan. The plan that's in the book, I'm a little curious here. Is that plan that you came up with to put into the book to help others? Is that based on the plan you followed to get to where you are today?
It is yeah, each little I think back because we got to go all the way back to 2023 when all of this started. And yeah, I mean, I guess I could show somebody what it looks like. I mean, I don't know if you can see
Oh,
it, but for those out there,
yep.
it basically is architecture development spiritual practices, and it takes you through. I start this at night because I believe if you go to bed on the right side of the bed, you're going to wake up on the right side of the bed. And then if you wake up on the right side of the bed, you're able to get, off on your right foot, first foot, whatever you want to call it, and so forth. But so it starts off with the mantra, not today, Satan, not today. So I almost started at night before I give my prayer and gratitude. And as I'm laying in bed, not tonight, Satan, not tonight. And just kind of just so grateful for the day. I'm so grateful for just awakening. I just think all the time today, as I lay in bed before I'm like, oh boy, get up and go work out. It's right 4 o'clock in the morning. And time's all relative. So it doesn't matter if you get up at 4 in the morning, you get up at 8 in the morning, 10, it doesn't matter because you probably stay up 16 hours. And so I just think about it. I go to bed that much earlier than you do. And no big deal. It's not a competition. And so realizing what this looked like is that's kind of how it started was when I sobered up, I was grateful I was alive every day because before I'd be hungover or sick, like really sick. And it was like, wow, this is what it's like to wake up and not feel like somebody beats you up like with a baseball bat every morning. And so that's kind of how it started. And then where it went into like the real practices of like the three daily wins, which is your physical win, your mental win, your spiritual win, was May. Now she's 4. She was probably a year and a half when it started. Was I was super depressed, right? Sober, but depressed. And she's like, dude, I'm gonna go if on the floor if you don't take me out. So I'm like, 'cause I wasn't physically fit anymore at that point. I gained 50 pounds and all these things into my retirement and so forth. And so I just started walking around the neighborhood. Literally, I say that the apartment building, like it probably took a month before I walked around the neighborhood, which is like 3 blocks. And so that was our physical win. That's how our physical win started. And I just would write down every day, like, how many times I walked or, pulled out my phone and was like, oh, the health app, you can get steps. How many steps am I roughly getting? Probably went from like 1,000 steps a day, which is so sad. But, hey, if you're not doing anything, you literally just feeling sorry for yourself on the couch. And I get that, been there. Um, that's probably what it looked like to now, like 15,000 steps a day, just knowing that my goal is to one day, run a marathon again, and we're finally into the. I'd say it's more like jogging, like kind of thing, like a lot of walking and a little bit of jogging,
Yeah.
and so. it's the goal though is to start, because I was an ultra marathon runner many years ago, and enough injuries and enough feeling sorry for yourself, you stop that. And once we stop, it's so hard to start again. Just to
Yeah.
so it's like that's where we're at. We're longer walks with the dog, and certain things, lifting weights, swimming, all that. And that's kind of in there. It's like you can check it off, or you can have other pick something. I know a lot of guys I talk to in different groups that I'm in, especially aging ourselves possibly, but pickleball is a huge, like, everyone's like, do you play pickleball? Do you play pickleball? And I'm like, no, it's not really my jam, but I can see it. I can see getting into it one day. And then, yeah, the mental win: read, write, create, learn. And then spiritual win: pray, meditate, study, grow, or whatever you want it to look like. So it looks like for me, an hour and a half in the gym, treadmill, so forth, walking the dog 4 times a day. That's my physical win. Mental win is reading my Bible, and then meditating. And a lot of people always are like, what do you mean by meditate? I'm like, just sitting in silence. Like, that sounds boring. And like, that's the point, because
Tough
in
to
that
do.
silence, it's so hard to do at first, really
Yeah.
hard. Like, start with just a minute, like a minute will seem like an hour. And then once you actually start to realize, you're like, holy cows, I came up with solving world hunger now at the 30-minute mark of my silence, only through all of that. I mean, that's how I get my downloads for like the next like chapter in a book, or the next idea for a chapter in a book. Is I literally drive in silence these days. This has been going on for months. No radio, no nothing. But I'm like, holy cows! Like, when did that like grow out of nowhere kind of thing? And people in the car will be like, dude, that's been there for like 100 years. Like, you've never noticed that? And I was like, I guess they had the radio on, and or I was talking on the phone. And you
Yeah.
don't realize what we don't pay attention to when we have all this noise. And it could be the radio, it could be every time you get in the car, you call your best friend, which is great. But you're probably repeating yourself almost every day by the third minute of your conversation with your best friend. You can only talk about how amazing the Vikings are so many times, kind of thing.
Oh, that's
Uh,
right. Forgot you're a Viking fan. Oh,
well, I live in Minnesota, and I told people when I moved here and got my license that I would support the Vikings. I don't know, being a fan, that might be a little rough, but yeah, I undeniable belief and faith, I would say at this point. If you tell me you're a Vikings fan, I really want to get to know your faith and belief side of the house, because every Sunday or Saturday or Monday or whatever day they play, and then throughout the off season, you're worrying about who they're picking up and all these things. And I'm like, you know, oh for how many, at this point. So
right.
all
Exactly.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's funny.
it takes you through all of the practices, and it really gets you prompts that are scripture and daily quotes that kind of align you. For some are positive, some are deep, some could possibly go like, whoa, that's a kind of a negative scripture, possibly, or a little, scripture can have a little darkness to it. And then the quote could also as well. And it's just for you to, it's later in the, you're in the 70 to 90-day range, where it's to get you where you should be thinking more of your feelings and your emotions. And does that steer your ship on a daily basis? Like,
Hmm.
what I mean by this example, I always kind of preach growth over comfort, discipline over feelings, kind of. And it is this piece, right? If your alarm goes off in the morning, your first thought is like, I don't want to get up out of bed. It's warm, it's comfortable. And if your first thing is to feed the dog, walk the dog, it's 25 below, going outside, and then you come back inside, you're warm again, and you're like, okay, now I have to leave to go to the gym. So I'm going to do this to myself twice at whatever time it is the day. It's dark out, and you got that little guy right here going, you're going to just lay in bed and enjoy this.
Just go back to
And
bed. Yeah.
then, yeah, you're just like, cool. And then the next thing you know, you sleep for 2 more hours and you feel like crap, right? And
Yep.
then you shame, beat yourself, guilt, and you're like, for me, I'm somebody, if I don't 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jump out of bed, walk me, head to the gym, I will, yeah, sleep till whenever, and I won't work out. Like, I could have windows throughout the day, like a meeting could get canceled and so forth, and I could run to the gym. I'm like, nope, didn't get in before 9 o'clock. I'm not doing it now. And it's just this crazy way of talking yourself out of. Most people, when they have struggle in their life, and you can look at mine and go like, wow, you took a lot of losses between 2022 and yesterday. Um, like, how do you win? And that's the whole point of these daily wins. You get to control those. So you win 3 times before you go to work, or before you have your cup of coffee, before you engage with other human beings. And so like you show up as a winner to the kind of the hard things, the things you can't control in life,
Yeah.
like your coworkers. You can't control them, unfortunately. And so if there's somebody who shows up not in the best, they don't bring their best self most days. What are you going to do, right? I mean, you could get a different job, and that's a whole nother episode, I guess, right? Kind of thing.
Right.
But that to me is what helped me get through all those months of really the struggles and the losses, where I was able to check off. And we're just human, right? So we create comfort. And some people are like, I don't do checklists because then I'd have to check them off. And I'm like, I need a checklist, because if I don't check something off, I'll go
Yeah.
into a anxiety spiral of like, what did I do today? Did I accomplish anything? No, I lost, 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 lost. But now I know, like, all right, look at mine. I'm like, cool. Like, Let's Get Spiritual says my 3 daily wins. Oh, look at that. I checked all 3 of those off. And my 10 things I'm grateful for, I filled it all out. Super, super easy. Like anybody can fill out 10 things to be grateful for. I mean, probably list 75 right now, and I wouldn't even get to the real good ones when you just start to go like right off the bat. Like I think of, your senses. Can you see? Can you smell? Can you taste? Can you hear? Can you touch? All right. Well, that was just 5, and we're not even leaving this kind of thing. And you start to see like we're on a computer, so that means there's electricity, and in this digital world of Wi-Fi, we have a connection to the outside world.
Yeah.
I go on and on, and like I have 25 pencils. I don't know why I'd need 25 of these pencils, but I guess that's how many I have. So I have 25 things to be grateful for, because I'm not going to run out of pencils. You just find things to be grateful for, and then the cool thing about it is giving it away to keep it. And what does that mean? Is like to be of service to others and share with others. Like you get to keep being happy, joyous, and free. You get to not have the weight of the world always on your shoulders. And that's really what it comes down to, is just being able to truly be free. That's what I've learned today. Like the jobs and the titles that made me feel like I was so rich, right? Financially rich, but I was in a prison. Like I said before, I had to go to work at X, Y, and Z. I had to do this.
Yeah.
Like when you get to kind of own, for me, like own the morning, and that having that freedom to say that from a business standpoint, my business isn't going to start till 9 a.m. I mean, boy, like I can do a lot of things before 9 a.m. and it's like just free. And that's my spirituality today, realizing that is, I mean, it's like being a gajillionaire or whatever that equates to for somebody out there that needs to have a number to, you finally realize that time and that freedom of that time is the ultimate riches.
Nice.
Yeah, it's wild.
Nice. I mean, the book has an action plan outline. So there's a checklist to keep you guided, sort of a direction provided that you get to help choose. It's accountability by checking the boxes and saying, hey, here's a proof that I did something. I'm curious. Whenever we write books, I think we're always writing them to somebody or for somebody. And so with this, the way you put it together, who are you writing this book to or for?
I mean, when you lay it out so nice, the way you asked it, it's me 3 years ago, 4 years ago, five, anything before I realized that the structure, right? 23 years in the military, I had from 5 in the morning till, well, it was just, I was 24/7. And so there was kind of just like this, an action plan. And there's actually part of it, your 3 daily wins, there's an after action review every day. And what that AAR, or what an action after review is, for those who don't know, is basically your sustains, your improves, and actions you're going to take in those areas, right? So it's great if you checked everything off, you're happy, sustain. Hey, well, let's just do this day over again tomorrow. But there's probably an improve. Like I can look at my physical this morning, and I didn't bring like my book with me to be like, okay, my Thursday workout looks like this. So like I probably slacked off a little bit in the weights that I chose today when it came to back and buys. And so I was like, oh, I think last week I was, doing 35 pounds kind of thing. And so I'll do 35 pounds again because I think it was. And I had done 40 pounds last week. So I, I kind of shaved 5 pounds there. Like, and I was like, oh yeah, this is good. Okay, I'm stronger than I felt last week. Whatever, maybe. And sure enough, why wouldn't it be easier? They're 5 pounds less each. And so it's kind of going back to improve. Is like, well, make sure you bring your book with you, like, and don't run across the street. And it's just like I think the pre-combat checks, pre-combat inspections that we used to do. I still need to do those today when it comes to leaving the house, even though I could have ran back, but it's cold out, so I was like, no, I don't need to run back outside again. And then those actions we need to take in it throughout the day, different pieces of it, really comes down to what areas really. And a lot of the time I find myself it's in that mental and that spiritual side where the physical, pretty normal piece of it. But I can find myself, that human comfort zone will come back in, and it does. I'll be like, oh, that 20 minutes was good enough. It wasn't 30. So, train to time, train to standard. What is it? Is it a time? So the standard is the time, or is it reps and so forth? And but yeah, when I think about myself, it not being in the military anymore. I need this. I still use this today, 850 days into my sobriety journey. I realize that this is just a holistic living, piece, is all the habits that we need to have in our life that allow us the health basically to give us the longevity. Granted, I don't know if I get tomorrow kind of thing, but I know today I want to live in such a way that like my health is the next most important thing in it, because this vessel has an expiration date if I live it any other way than the best way possible. And today we have such unbelievable, it's like, hey, eat a healthy diet and drink water and do these things. And it's like, okay, I don't do any of that. Well, what do you expect? You're gonna, I think back, I probably was living my body when I retired, 4 odd years ago now from the military. I was like 70 years old. My body was, right. And it was just because I hadn't, over probably the last 5 years, didn't live a very healthy lifestyle, and realizing all those compounding years had the effect of many terrible things. And then now today to go like, wow, like you improve yourself over time and space and live like, there's a reason why people write books about health. There's a why of spirituality, why there's habits, and you just do them today. And when tomorrow shows up, then do them again tomorrow, and so forth. And be amazed, almost lost the 50 pounds I gained, in those 18 months after retirement. We're down to our like last few
Sweet.
pounds here. So that's pretty awesome. And people are like, oh my goodness, like you look bigger, but you lost like that much. I'm like, yeah, well, muscle does weigh more than fat. It's just kind of the norm. And
I love that answer.
you,
There you go.
yeah. And so you realize that it's like, wow, that was possible. And to me, I was like fearful that I was going to be stuck at that. I have a picture that it's on my fridge. I want to burn it every time I look at it. And then why it's on the fridge is because, yeah, it was, it doesn't even look like me when people see it. My like just squared off all the way down to your, like no whatever chin or whatever you want to call it, the jawline.
Hmm.
And I had a goatee at the time, which my girls, didn't like, and so forth. And I was probably doing it because, just get a rise out of them. And yeah, today it's just trying to do better, trying to be a better example of what we should be doing to just be somewhat of service in society. And yeah, the biggest
Yeah,
thing with Let's Get Spiritual is that it kind of just takes you through it. So I don't know who I heard it from. It was talking about making decisions. Maybe it was Tony Robbins sitting in one of his, and simplifying your life to hey, you don't need to have 30 t-shirts and 20 pairs of jeans and 10 sneakers and all these things because you're complicating your decision making in life. Basically, simplify it as much as possible. And for me, where I was probably overthinking before, like, how's this look? How's that look? I got to look a certain way. What's Rory think about my sweater? So on and so forth, and and everything else. And so,
right,
how do we simplify it as much as possible to really give you buy back your time, and you also don't get analysis paralysis on decisions that have no real true outcome, I guess. That I mean, you could talk about feelings and emotions. Oh, I feel good when I look like this, and that is true.
sure,
But how long did it take you to make the decisions you needed to feel that way? Oh, like an hour. And I'm like, okay, so not that it has to be about money, but it just that seems to get people's attention.
right.
How much you get paid an hour? I make like $500 an hour. I'm like, are you willing to like pay $500 like to feel the way you do? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. And be like, okay, well, you just solved your own equation there on simplifying your wardrobe and to have that feeling, right? Because if you know that that outfit makes you feel good, like I have pretty much, I think this in three other colors, and the pants that I have on, you just come in two colors. And I'm like, every time I'm like, man, I look good today. That feeling accomplished. It cost me $1.25, kind of because that's how long it took me to
There you go.
change hangers and put the clothes on. So I get it. I
Yeah,
sound like an alien at times when it comes to some of these things, but it's because I used to spend a lot of time, a lot of that freedom trying to make a decision that, like, hey, this, I got purple underwear. Should I wear purple underwear? I don't have purple socks on, blah, 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 blah. And for those out there that are Vikings fans, are like, yeah, absolutely. I got purple socks with purple underwear with a purple undershirt, right? Let's go.
not going to help. It's not going to help. It's just not going to help. I love it. No, honestly, I mean, it sounds like you're an efficiency expert in a lot of ways. With a lot of the things that you've done, a lot of things that you teach. And again, I've known you for a while, so I've seen a lot of these pieces. It seems like you really did more than some of these other projects you've done, which are all great. But you've taken so many pieces of you and really taken like all the best parts, put them into this book, and said, here's how you need to move forward. Here's everything I can give you to move forward. Does that sound kind of accurate? Is that how you feel about the book?
Yeah, no, I love how you have that ability to sum things up in such a great way. It's
Thanks, man.
truly that because to me today it's not about me anymore. Before it was always about me. It had to be about me. Today it's now like it. This project took the longest. I mean, this project's been working on it a year. Where the first couple books, like it was cool because it just came, got downloaded on a piece of paper, sent to somebody. We like it. We'll publish it, kind of with you. And this one was took a writing coach to help me with it, kind of, and
Well,
go like, it's good, but it could be so much better. And going like, we're gonna check it, like just getting upset about that, right? And the refinement. And then now today, when I've reread it and then rework it myself, I think of all the guys that helped along the way. I mean, that's the coolest thing when I look in the acknowledgments and the amount of people that it took to have it's just so cool. Just a shout out and gratitude to and I just say because there's many of them the Lisas, the Kaz's, the Mikes, the Ryan's, not this Ryan, other Ryan's, Tanya's, Brady's, Mark's, there's four Marks, Andy's times two, the God Squad, Step Brothers, Mission Project crew, coaches to coaches, mom, dad, Jim, Roxanne, Steve, Amy, Randy, Joe, Spencer, Justin, it goes on and on. Rory, it's just all the people that you just go like wow, what it took for this to come together, because there were certain pieces of it that, yeah, it worked great for me, but I'm like, okay, like, does it work for a Rory? Does it work for a Steve? Does it work? And it's like, hey, can you try this out for size? Like, I mean, I gave it to a group of like 20 people because a lot of people were going like, I really struggle with meditation. What does that even like? What does it mean to meditate? And so I was like, if you just do this, do these practices for like 30 days and like let me know if you're still going like what, and they all came back and was like, I'm up to 5 minutes, 5 minutes of unadulterated silence, right? And they're like, my life is amazing. And I'm like, okay, cool. Go to a silent retreat for 4 days. Take two of these and get back to me in the morning. Because for me, that's what really opened my eyes up to, was like starting at like extended periods of silence more and more. And I love a challenge, right? Anybody that challenges me, I'm like, let's go. I can hang. And 4 days of silence. That was, back in November of last year, interviewed a modern monk and talking about like his childhood, growing up with his father being like the head guru, and
Hmm.
him being the young boy, and then now today he's like, the head guru, and realizing, uh, once you can dominate the silence, it's just, your body heals. It's like fasting. It's healing from the inside out,
Yeah.
and where you really connect with the universe, right? You connect to something far, far outside of yourself, and you can really just see things in such a different, vibrant. Like before, when I started to think about life and places I've been, I'm always just like, man, that was a dark place, and so forth. And it was like, no, that was me. Like being in that place, that was the darkness. Now when I go back to places that I believe were dark, I'm just like, man, there's like they put new lights in here. Like what's going on? And you realize that it is, and this modern monk talks about, we create our own mirror reflection. Actually, life is a window, and only through our mistakes does it start to cloud, or our traumas, and it turns into a mirror. So all we can see is our inadequacies, our fears, those anxieties, the not good enoughs, the coulda, woulda, shouldas, all these different things. And then the next thing you know, that's all we see, and that's that darkness that creeps in, that reflection, as opposed to, let's work on our traumas, let's try to meditate, let's try to talk about these things with others, and you start to clean off, and it becomes the window again. So like you're 5 years old, you just got an ice cream cone and a puppy dog and all these great, wonderful things again, and you're like, holy cows, life is amazing. And that's kind of the saying. And I don't know if it's Jelly Roll that talks about the windshield is bigger for a reason than the rear view mirror is.
Yeah.
You just got to keep looking forward. And I've learned that now is anytime that I want to let darkness creep out, all I have to do is start looking back behind into my past, and letting it kind of creep into today. And those are the things that I've really, not that you're running from them anymore. I was always running from them before. I've faced them.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid of them anymore. And I know they don't do me any good letting them come around along for the ride or carrying them in my rucksack like I used to. It just kind of slowed me down. And that's where
Yeah.
I think possibly you as well. You see how you can speed actually time up in a good way, not in a, like a let's get through life way, but where when you're not carrying so much, it's just you attract, and then you have people that help you that have done it before you, and then they can just do it like this, like it's like, hey Rory, like I know you did this, like you mind like help me? Yeah, I got it like an hour this afternoon. You want to do it? And we like knock out something that would have taken a year
Yeah.
before, because you just continue to go down the wrong road, and you're carrying all this weight of decades. For me, it was decades of trauma that
Yeah.
I was bringing with me, and unfortunately, so many people had to be a part of that. And now I'm just a living amends that you're in my life. You're probably somebody that believes in me, and you. What the rocks say, you love what the rocks cooking, you like what the rocks, you smell what the rocks cooking, whatever it was. It's like, yeah, it's good. It smells good these days. It's so much better. uh, just
That's awesome.
because it's just great, and it's so good to see you again. And thank you.
You too, brother. I got one last question for you, but before we do that, tell everybody where they can reach you, best way to contact you, best way to find all your works, including the new one, Let's Get Spiritual.
Yeah, ourprotectordevelopment.com will get you all the books, the podcasts, the courses. You want to hop on a call and just have a meaningful conversation. I know it's always scary, like, oh, he's a coach, he's going to want me to work with him and stuff like that. I just want to meet people that want to have meaningful conversations. The rest works itself out.
Uh,
And then if you love social media, I still don't love it, but I know that's how we communicate, and Ryan T. Reichert or Army RT 1978 on any of the social medias, and we'll be able to link up that way. So,
Excellent. All right, man. Last question. I ask everybody this. I can't wait to hear this answer. You're someone who has put a couple of books out now. And, you described, your process on this last one, and how it was sort of above and beyond, everything you did. A lot of folks who listen to this program are aspiring authors too. And so the question I like to sort of end with is, what's your best advice for authors who are out there who want to be where you are and are not quite where you are yet?
uh, go to whatever part of the book that says how to contact said author. So let's see here. What's this say on mine? Let's see if I'm preaching. If I'm preaching to the choir, or if I'm actually let's see here. Oh, published by Our Protector Development. Let's see. And then it's www.ourprotectordevelopment.com. Contact Ryan. And so
All
so
right.
if someone's published a book
There you go.
and whatever, reach out to them. We actually help people write books at Our Protector Development today. So that is Our Protector Development Publishing. That's the first one. And I just let's talk. Let's have a good time. No, not going to cost you anything to reach out to me and hop on the phone together. And just, I would say this: if you want to be an author, start. If you want to publish your book, publish your book. Just do it. It's kind of like Nike, right? It's and then
Right.
say just do it. And that's what I realized is my first two books that I wrote. Boy, if I'm going to rewrite them, basically, I believe in a different kind of
Hmm.
lens per se, because I'm going to take the best tools, but it's going to have this flair on it, not the hey, you want to ride through the valley at dawn with me kind of thing. Like we don't need to do that again. Let's do it from a different lens. And just knowing that not everybody gets a second chance, so I don't want to have that second chance flavor to kind of some of those lessons in the first book. And some guys are already men, which is so cool. So it's a couple of guys out there looking at having a cohort or group project together of our journeys. We all got here a different way. What does it look like though from today now versus we don't need the past, we need what does it look like to sustain it, because that's sometimes the hardest thing is sustaining something. We don't realize that in that comfort, uh, complacency, boy, I tell you, it creeps in hard. And so you got to have the right circles. But I love it. I think everybody should tell their story. I'm definitely on my girls to start writing their books and their portions of kind of what was this like to go through so they can help other teenagers or whatever. I guess Lauren's 20 now. So whatever this for them looks like, because, there's so many others going through it. It's not easy. Your parents are going through a separation, divorce, and don't talk to each other, and different things. Like, what is that like? And then your life to be kind of turned upside down. And what's the future, going to be? It's going to be so much better than you could ever imagine once you make a decision on whichever way you're going to go. But
Right on.
uh, yeah, write your book.
Beautiful.
Write your book.
Beautiful. All right. I love that. I knew I was going to get some kind of answer from you. I had no idea that you'd gotten into helping folks doing the books. So I was like, you know what? All right, perfect. All right, folks, you heard it. You heard it here. The author of Let's Get Spiritual, which is out now. Go check it out. Ryan Reichert. Ryan, thanks for coming on again, man. It was great touching base with you. And you are always an interview that is just worth listening to, brother. You always are. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, sir.
All right, folks, that's been another great episode of the Right Path podcast, where being an author, an actual author, still matters. Folks, This is the place where authors know that every single page is a step forward, and it's a step forward towards finding the right path. Until next time.